Scurfield give it a chance to run, and she will. But look at this, Krissy Scurfield absolutely out of the blocks. Olympic silver medalist, showing why she's got all the pace. Up against Poulan, racing to the corner. What a score from Krissy Scurfield!
And I had just come back from nationals with UVic University team, and I was just 18, and I got the call like 3 or 4 days before we were taking the flight to Dubai, and it was just like, hey, what are you doing next week? And I'm like, why? It's like, you want to come to Dubai and play on the World Series? I was like, what? Like, there's no way. Like, this has got to be a joke, because at that point I had barely trained with the sevens team, and it was like a dream come true to even kind of like train alongside them. So I was like, okay, if I'm going on this tour, like, this is crazy. So anyways, I obviously said yeah.
Reinach goes for a round around the fringes. Reinach puts a kick over for himself. Reinach! Oh, he's more dangerous than climate change. Reinach is in.
Hello and welcome to the Rugby Hive. I'm Dallen, Stanford, and despite my South African accent, I was fortunate enough to play rugby for the United States on the Sevens World Series.
And I'm MacDowell, a former Canadian Sevens international. Back in my playing days, I went head-to-head against Dallen in the USA.
For several years, Robin has coached international sevens for various countries, including Canada and Mexico. He's massively passionate about growing the game across the Americas through his MacDowell rugby programs at all levels. I've been fortunate to be a World Rugby commentator for the past decade, getting the opportunity to be a lead broadcaster at the recent 2023 Rugby World Cup in France, the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan, and the amazing Sevens World Series. I've also teamed up with USA Sevens legend Perry Baker, growing the global game through Flag Rugby X. It's a non-contact game that helps rugby teams fundraise, grow their playing numbers, and reconnect with alumni.
More than a decade later, we are teaming up to bring you insights from legendary players and coaches from around the world.
This is the Rugby Hive podcast.
Dupont on the outside, back inside is Jalibert. Here come the French, linking beautifully. That's champagne rugby, and I can say that because it's from France.
Hello and welcome back to Season 3 of the Rugby Hive. It's been so lekker being back in the world of podcasting, and we appreciate all the amazing support from the brilliant rugby community. Our last episode featured Olympic bronze medalist Spiff Cedric, was a massive hit. Definitely not to you, Robin, but the flying electric eel.
So proud of Spiff and being able to share, some of the moments with the listeners. I was actually there, as we discussed on that episode, in line with her having a crack, scoring under. But my favorite part of that episode, Dallen, is when she explained she thought they already won, and then they told her she had to kick because Alev was on the sideline, and she didn't know she had to kick and almost ran out of time, and she never kicks. But luckily, your good buddy, what's the assistant coach's name again?
Zach Testy.
Yeah, Testy, man. Dialed her in like a good assistant coach before the final and bronze medal final, and she brought it home. It's every legend has a story. She's a legend.
It's iconic. I actually was with Spiff this past weekend, and she retold that story. It was just remarkable to hear it as well, like face to face, because she made a broadcasting debut this past weekend, the Premier Rugby Sevens All-Star Tournament. It was so cool teaming up with her in Portland, Oregon, and she was such a natural, absolute natural on the broadcast. She was giving us insights, obviously, on the USA woman, the Canadian woman on the Fox Sports broadcast. And it's so funny. Like right a few months ago, Verity and I jumping up and down here at home, watching her on TV scoring, probably one of the most iconic Olympic medals of all time. And then a few months later, here we are, and I'm giving her broadcasting advice.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Spiff too. She's taking some time out, recovering from some injuries, and getting out there, getting amongst it. Obviously, Alona Meyer as well is Dancing with Stars leading from the front. But no, it's cool just to see. I've been involved with Spiff's career for 3-4 years through the Premier Sevens, and then also seeing Kelly Griffin, former Looney bestie, tattoo mate, leading that all-star team, and good to see Richie back on the bench, and he's been the key looking for talent across the U.S. So connected with him for a few athletes, and Canadian Brogan Meyer, who just graduated from Harvard, finally eligible to get amongst it here, and she scored a beauty under the post.
Yeah, no, it was so good to see. I was reading the bios, and Chris and Orson, of course, one of your young players that you ID'd as well. And speaking of ID'd, it's Krissy Scurfield, who's on this episode, who's electric. Another one of those players, like I know you keep saying from like the prairies or the mountains. I don't even know where you live, even though I've been to visit you. It's amazing how you've unearthed two of the world greats.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is in life, you just need somebody in your corner. And I had a few in my corner, like I'm sure you've had a few in your corner. But I definitely fought for those kids. But as far as saying like I know anything about talent ID, when you see somebody like her play sports, her or Carissa, it's easy. So you see a sports car, you just got to give them the keys.
Yeah, no, totally. All right, Butchie, listen, it's been a busy month since we last recorded. Welcome to California. You touched down recently. Tell the audience what you've been up to and what's coming up on the horizon.
Well, with the Rhinos, so I'm not a very loyal coach. Apparently, I coach every country. I coach every franchise. It's my third season with the Rugby 10s Championship. Grateful to be still on the hunt with this league. I was unavailable for the series that ran the whole month of October because we had some MacDowell rugby tours to Mexico, and I launched 3 new academies. So I was able to come in to support our Rugby Hive mate Ben Gollings to get the band back together and mostly catch up with Frankie and guys like you. But the best thing about the PR7s and the Rugby 10s Championship, these professional leagues, is I get to work with athletes from around the world. Like, it is so cool to work with these amazing men and women from around the world. And we come together and we're a traveling show similar to the World Series. So grateful to be in the sun. I got raccoon eyes because I just came from the turf.
Okay, well, I'm going to be joining you very soon for the Rugby 10s Championship. Just so people know, it's 3 brilliant days of competition, November 23, 27, and November 30th. And we see the franchises battling it out, the Cape Town Wild Dogs, the Balkans Honey Badgers, the Serengeti Elephants, and your San Clemente Rhinos, looking to hunt down $1 million in prizes and high-performance training slots as well. People can check out the schedule, watch every minute of the action at rugby10s.com. All right, my friends, and then a couple other things I've been working. As you mentioned, the series, I've got a chance to commentate those 4 fantastic match days. They had about 20 countries represented in that event, which is amazing to see. About 50 internationals with several Olympians taking part, plus the first ever Major League Rugby women's professional team, the San Diego Legion. So it was very fun doing some of the social media interviews with a lot of those 10s legends. And of course, I can't wait to catch up with you, Robs. And then, of course, I mentioned this past weekend, going to Portland in the PR7s. Great to see them back. They obviously hadn't had any activity since last year, even though a lot of players have come through and represented in the various Olympic teams in Paris. So it's really great to have seen the USA in action, the Canadian women in action. I will say, your team in the rain, the Canadian women's team, dominated Team USA. I know they're preparing for Dubai, so they're still going to make a few little changes and getting some additions added, but very impressed with your side.
Yeah, and just shout out to new head coach of the Canadian Women's Olympic team, Jocelyn Barriot, good friend, former Dog River Howler teammate years ago. And she was actually, helping us with the Looney ID camp in 2023 and making the transition to the West Coast from Concordia Stingers in Montreal. It's great to have a French woman leading that program. She bleeds red for Canada, and she's one of those people that inspire me because my dream is to coach on the World Series as a head coach one day, and I'm so happy to see her lead her first team to her first championship with a bunch of new players too. So it's very exciting for USA and Canada, and I know a lot of the senior Canadian players and senior U.S. players that weren't available for the PR7's All-Star Weekend will be back on the series this year.
That's right. And the MVP, Asia Hogan Rochester. And then on the men's side of things, Lucas Lecamp was the MVP. The USA men's team, it was amazing. They played the All-Star side, coached by Richie Walker. And Richie Walker sent me a bunch of videos during the week. And it's all these like no-look kicks over the top and crazy moves. Now, again, when they were training, it was perfect conditions. Come to the match, unfortunately, that day was pouring with rain. So very slippery. But what I was impressed with, the USA dominated the first game, won by 4 or 5 tries against the All-Stars. And then the All-Stars with Martin Yosefo, Matale Yura, a bunch of legends, that have either recently retired or the last few years, took it to them. At nearly full time in the both next matches, it was almost tied, and the US Eagles had to pull it out the death and score a fantastic overtime thriller to win it. So amazing to see. And Richie Walker with a no-look kick like Carlos Spencer over the top, a trick play, Derek Adams executing to perfection, and Will Chevalier scoring. I don't know if you saw it, Robbie. It was amazing.
Yeah, I saw it. And sometimes the bad weather helps to it with the bounce of the ball, but that's what you want. I mean, that's one thing the Premier Rugby Sevens in the U.S. has done the last now fourth year, is giving opportunities for national team athletes or developing up and coming development athletes to cut their teeth and play with different players. And it's just going to help fine tune the USA men and women as they head to and Canada as they head into the World Series. And the Canadian men are down battling out to get on the Challenger Series in Trinidad and Tobago this weekend with the Rugby Americas North competition. So hopefully those boys can bounce back and have a strong year on the Challenger Series.
Yeah, we hope so indeed. We need a strong Canada. It keeps the US strong as well. A couple of things I want to mention before we kick off this episode. The Algarve Sevens Festival that I'm an ambassador for. If any rugby teams want to join us in one of the best coastal sports festivals around, message me and we'll set you up for that epic tournament in Portugal. Takes place June 6 to 9. And then Avant Brandy, which is a new venture co-founded by 15 international rugby players, including Rugby World Cup winning Springbok captain John Smith. The other legends on the group, Butch James, CJ Stander, George Gregan, Jean de Villiers, Jim Hamilton, Joseph Dwebe, Justin Marshall, Lokanya Makazola Mapimpi, Scott Brits, Raymond Rule, Wasali Serevi, Via Nell. And then somehow I've got my name sneaked into that list there. Well, they've just been voted this week best brandy in South Africa, plus bottles of the Golden Nectar available at Norman Goodfellows across South Africa, and the UK distribution is now available. So my friends, sink your teeth into Avant Brandy. And you can go to the website, avantbrandy.com. There's a special Founders 15, a 15-year-old Avant Brandy, limited edition with every player's signature on there as well. And then a last quick update on the Flag X business with Perry Baker. I know, Robin, you're playing it at the MacDowell Rugby Academies that you've got around the globe. It's soaring as we expected. A new deal inked with the National Collegiate Rugby Organization. We're partnering with them and over 600 universities and colleges here in the US. So our official launch is next year. But we've got a ton of prizes to give away. We've got free starter packs to give out to rugby teams that are interested in playing this game. It is super fun. You can connect with alumni, fundraise for your team as well. tagxinternational.com is where you need to get signed up. And I know you've played the game and you've stepped a few park cars like myself playing it, Robs.
Yeah, we play it every Friday at our full-time Island Academy. The kids go nuts for it. And then we've had some alumni, some future Canadian stars that are at university. They came home last week before I headed out to California. And they were there 3 days and every day, like, can you play Tag X? And my staff was getting upset at me. I'm like, yeah, we can play Tag X. Like, come on. Like, you know, I'm... Whenever my athletes come back and see me, they're like, I'm their biggest fan and I can't say no. They're crazy for it. So yeah, it's what I like about it is just the laws and the different rules, and it encourages UA. And in North America, we're very hard nosed and physical like Krissy, and we want to encourage people to try stuff just like Richie did with the PR7s last weekend. Yeah,
so great. So during the Rugby 10 series, Perry Baker was there showcasing Flag Rugby X, and we had a bunch of the coaches, obviously, like you'd be there now playing as well. So everybody jumped on. We had, you know, as old as Dick Muir playing, you know, and young players come in as well. Todd Clever was there. Everybody's throwing the ball around. And because I was wearing a GoPro, right, so I was filming all the action. When I ran through, I was going to score a try, but I'd dive right in the game of rugby. But the GoPro was on, so I'm trying to like settle down, and I tried to place the ball one-handed over the try line. And what happened? Dropped it over the try line. So embarrassing. Everybody's watching. They're like, hey, this is the guy who's like, you know, trying to promote the game. He can't even score a bloody try. So shocking footage. We'll cut to that a bit later. All right, time to thank our brilliant, superb sponsors. We've had so many wonderful people join the Rugby Hive journey, a roller coaster ride, but mainly on the up. World Rugby Shop, they produce our sensational sleek clothing merch, anything, you name it, worldrugbyshop.com. Just search Rugby Hive on the website and you can add some sleek items to your cart. Then Gilbert Rugby Canada, the absolute legends. They're also the ones that make the Rugby Hive rugby ball, the precision ball that Robin has founded. Go to gilbertrugbycanada.com and support those absolute stars. Then the MacDowell Rugby Academies, available to athletes all around the world to train and perform. Dream, believe, succeed. Such a strike rate that Robin has. Go to MacDowellRugby.ca or MacDowellRugby.ca. However you want to pronounce it, it works for me. Rugby Coffee, of course, they're keeping us caffeinated like absolute legends. The two founders are amazing people, always looking to give back to this beautiful game. Visit us.rugbycoffee.com, grab a couple of fresh bags and sink your teeth into those. And then speaking of sinking your teeth, Brews Biltong, the delicious, sensational snack of choice for me in America. Order your Biltong and Drove Horse at brewsbiltong.com. And the same in Canada. Robin's Choice of Snack, Canada Biltong, with their amazing products. Get your Biltong, other items for the braai there at canadabiltong.com. And then Tsunami Sport, the eco-friendly teamwear for all sports. Don't just play, inspire. Tsunami make remarkable team wear. They also have a partner here in North America founded by the sensation Justin Hale called Legacy Eco Sportswear. So if you're in the hunt for eco sleek items visit tsunami-sport.com and legacyecowear.com. And as always, we're open for additional partners as we grow globally, particularly here in North America. Send us a message to any of our social channels or hit up Robin or myself. All right, it's time to get to silver medalist Krissy Scurfield. Make sure you keep connecting with our socials at Rugby Hive on X, Facebook, and YouTube, at My Rugby Hive on Instagram, and our website, rugbyhive.com. Keep it safe out there, you sleek sensations. We appreciate all the support. It's time now for Season 3, Episode 35. It's history in the making for the Rugby Hive as we have back-to-back episodes which include Olympic medalists from Paris 2024. This time, we're then talking with Rugby Canada's silver medalist, electric sensation, Krissy Scurfield. Krissy, welcome to the Hive.
Hey, yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You couldn't be more excited, exactly. Where are you calling in from?
Pardon?
Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Loughborough, UK right now.
Very nice. So how's your English accent going?
Not good. I've been trying my best, but yeah, it is not getting there at all.
Exactly. And drinking lots of tea, I would imagine.
Yeah, lots of tea. I didn't realize that's a daily thing now. So yeah, getting on that.
I like it. All right, let's go all the way back. Let's talk a little bit about, your childhood, growing up in stunning Canmore, Alberta, set in the Canadian Rockies. Tell us a bit about, how that landscape influenced your early years and journey to sports.
I mean, yeah, growing up in Canmore, it's more of like a winter sports town. Most people that come out of there are either skiers or hockey players or anything winter, really. So yeah, coming out of that town, being a rugby player is kind of unheard of. My athletic background in Canmore was I started out playing hockey and I did gymnastics as well. So yeah, just transitioning into rugby when I was about 15 and then moving out to the West Coast eventually to get away from the snow was kind of the big move. So yeah, definitely not a rugby town, but yeah.
And tell me about, because I don't know anything about ice hockey. So did you use some of the physicality in that sport to get into rugby and you're kind of like, I love this more?
Yeah, I mean, my kind of style when I played hockey, I was a bit of a goon. I always had like the most penalty minutes on my team. I grew up playing boys hockey too, so that definitely brought in the physicality. Then when I switched to girls, I think I brought in the heat a little bit too much. So yeah, when I started playing rugby, it was kind of nice. I was like, oh, you can actually hit and it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I just loved it. I adored it right off the bat. And also just like being outside and kind of chasing the sun was another thing that I really fell in love with, not being in the freezing cold hockey rink all day. So yeah.
So just transitioning from living the Canadian ice hockey dream to the turf, how'd you first get started in hockey and how was that transition from full-time hockey academy in Okotoks to being a full-time rugby player in Victoria?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I did play hockey for as long as I can remember. I started out when I was probably 3 years old. My older siblings both played, so obviously I was just thrown in it too. I was one of the only girls on the team for the longest time. I had another friend who was in it too, who was always like my best friend growing up. But yeah, I mean, I only started playing rugby when I was around 14. It was the year that I had quit gymnastics and I had no summer sport and I was getting a little bored. And yeah, I was like, okay, all my teachers were trying to get me to play rugby and I was like, I don't know. And then one day I just showed up to practice and yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it. And then yeah, I just started playing kind of for fun when I was around 14, and I was still playing hockey very competitively. I was in a full-time hockey academy at that stage, and eventually, after I graduated high school, had to kind of make the decision if I was going to pursue rugby or hockey full-time, and I was kind of thinking about maybe trying to do both in uni, but it's a little bit unrealistic because the seasons overlap. So yeah, I ended up just kind of fully committing to rugby and trying to chase the dream there. And I mean, lots of props to Robin for kind of pushing me to do that too. But yeah, no, just kind of made the full switch when I was around 18 and went to UVic and tried to chase the dream there.
So little backstory, Dallen. In 2019, I was coaching the Canadian men's university team at the FISU Games in Naples, Italy, and we were like just to set the setting for that multi-sport games, they use cruise ships, which is beautiful because they just sailed or floated in some cruise ships, tied it downtown Naples, overlooking the Naples Castle, rather than building a bunch of, stucco throw together houses. And Neil Langevin, I'd asked Neil Langevin to be my assistant coach / manager. I want to bring somebody experienced, and one gentleman I've always looked up to. He's the head coach of the Lethbridge Pronghorns, developed so many girls out of that Lethbridge team for years. And he's like, Robin, I'm always looking for talent, of course. And he's like, I've got a girl for you. This girl from Canmore. She fits the Lethbridge Pronghorn prototype. She's short, she's stocky, she's explosive. Like, she's the perfect. So, like, just, the backstory, Kayla Molesky also went to Lethbridge Pronghorns, former Canadian Olympian, and Ashley Patzler as well. So she's like kind of in that kind. She's the next one. And so, she would have been 15 or 16 at the time. This is years before I even met her. And then I first met her at a Canada U18 camp or trial in Alberta or whatever. And I looked for her because there was like 100 girls. So I looked for her because Neil had planted the seed. And then I followed up with her, and I was the head of talent ID for the Canadian women. I said, it'd be great for you to go to RBC training ground, which is our Olympic testing. And so she did. And they basically, it's like a meat market for Olympic coaches, looking, fighting like from all the different sports.
All right.
Targeting all the athletes with all the metrics. And I'm like full court press, right? Full court press, because she's off the charts with all the metrics, right? So I'm like, I've flown out there. I don't do it for shits and giggles. Like, I actually want to help people. I want to find the talent. And I know what the opportunities are like on the World Series and that for Canadian kids. So I was like, okay, before you get out of here, is your dad here or your parents here? He's like, yeah, my dad Al's here. I'm like, okay, let's go grab a hot chocolate. So I was feeding this kid hot chocolates and telling her about the dream, which I do every single day. And parents roll their eyes and kids are like, what is this guy talking about? He's full crazy. And then I was running late because I just obviously didn't stop talking. And then I begged her dad, Al, to actually drop me off at the airport. So, and the rest is history. And then the pandemic, I brought her and Carissa Norston out. I was coaching the U18 team at the Vancouver Sevens in 2020. A year later, and then both those girls flew back to the prairies and played in hockey tournaments. They didn't watch the World Series, but that's kind of where it started. And then over the pandemic, we just set up calls, me, her, and her dad, and I was just trying to keep her engaged while the pandemic happened. And it's it's a real great story. But for me, I always talk about Al. I've seen her dad on the World Series and everywhere on the coast, and we always talk about the hot chocolate together. So it's been so lovely seeing her from start to, I don't want to say finish, but she's 2021 now and already has a silver medal and is playing in the Premiership.
No, it's amazing. Krissy, I want to ask about your dad as well. I read that he was an international sports star as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very athletic man. He's a great diver back in the day. He did tons of sports. He played football too. Definitely a big athletic inspiration for me. He's always pushed to get me in sports, and he's always been the guy to drive me wherever I need to go. And he's always been my number one supporter. He's not one of those dads that ever gets mad if I have a bad game or yells in the car. Like, he would always just be like, he played great. Doesn't matter how I actually played. He's always just my number one. Good luck. Have a great game. Have fun. Like, just a great guy. But yeah, definitely I wouldn't be here without him. He loved the fact that I started playing rugby, even though he doesn't know a clue what's going on. He's definitely my biggest fan. So yeah, he's just a legend in all aspects. He always relates it to football, and I'm like, it's not quite the same, but yeah.
But also a good job that Robin basically making that meeting happen, and the hot chocolates worked and the conversations. So it's been a good team,
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that tradition. Okay. So obviously, growing up in Canada, hockey is the number one sport, right? So what made you, motivated to go to the West Coast and make that change into rugby?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really hard decision, honestly. Like, my dream always growing up was playing hockey and being on the national team and going that route. It was challenging after COVID to find unis in general, since everybody got an extra year of eligibility. Basically every single team that I was talking to previously in the years before were like, okay, well, now for the first year, like, every graduate of 2021 is going to have to be a redshirt for a season. So I'm like, oh, I'm not even going to play. Like, I'll be a practice player for a year, and which isn't the worst thing, but I mean, I love playing games. So, and then, yeah, I had some opportunities to go to university for hockey and rugby. And that was something that I would have loved to do, but also it wasn't close to the West Coast, and I knew that's where the national team was at. So I knew I needed to get over there at some point. Robin had a good influence on trying to push me to get out to the West Coast because he knew that's where it was based. And there's also Development Academy that was going on at that point. So yeah, I think in that summer of 2021, when I just graduated high school, I got accepted into that Development Academy with the Sevens program, and that was just kind of something I couldn't turn down. So at that point, I was really pushing to go to UVic as well, and got into that program. So I was like, okay, well, I guess hockey's just over. Like there's no hockey on the West Coast. It's not really as big as it is in the central provinces of Canada. So I was like, all right, I just hung up the skates. I didn't really think too much about it, and then just kind of took my step into the kind of direction of going to the Olympics, and just had that on the mind ever since that day, really.
Yeah, so let's talk about that transition. Let's talk about your very first game on the Sevens World Series, right? We know what a big stage it is. You're representing Canada. Can you take us back to that moment? You know, who did you play against? What stadium was it when you ran onto the field for the first time?
Yeah, so my first tournament was Dubai Sevens. I was like a very late call up to that tournament, like the very last pick for sure. And I had just come back from nationals with the UVic university team. And I was just 18, and I got the call like 3 or 4 days before we were taking the flight to Dubai, and it was just like, hey, what are you doing next week? And I'm like, why? It's like, you want to come to Dubai and play in the World Series? I was like, what? Like, there's no way. Like, this has got to be a joke, because at that point I had barely trained with the Sevens team, and it was like a dream come true to even kind of like train alongside them. So I was like, okay, if I'm going on this tour, like, this is crazy. So anyways, I obviously said, yeah, I would love to, and kind of went to that tournament just with very little experience. Kind of just got thrown in with the Wolves and didn't really know any of the girls on the team, and had to learn a lot going into that tournament. Yeah, and just kind of was like very unprepared. My first game was against, I don't even know what my first game was. It was just such a blur. I think it was against Brazil. Do you remember, Robin, at all?
No.
I don't even know. One of those games.
Yeah,
the first, It was a
Al will
back.
know.
Yeah, it was. You would know. It was a back-to-back tournament in Dubai. So the first tournament had no fans because it was still right after COVID, and then the second tournament they brought in the fans. So my first game ever, there was no fans in the stands, which is quite nice, a little bit calming. But I do remember just being like, how did I get here? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, it was just kind of like a dream come true. Definitely nothing I'd ever seen before. The heat was just like unbearable. But yeah, it was a great tournament overall. I learned a ton and went back to Canada, got cut from a couple teams after that, and knew I had a lot of work to do. So yeah, no, it was great. Great overall experience, and yeah, definitely learned a lot from that trip. It was crazy.
Well, I want to go back to that. Actually, now that I remember it, because you mentioned that, I actually was there for that, because I remember commentating and there was no fans allowed at that first Dubai event. We was back from like after the COVID period. So I actually and Robin did say to me, he said, watch out for two players, Carissa Norston, and of course yourself. And so I already had you on the radar. I'm like, cool, okay. Where other commentators, you know, you were brand new, as you said, you barely, you barely knew you were going to be in the tournament 4 days before. So I remember you getting the ball and just turning on the gas and just burning people. And we're like, okay, cool, here we go. This is going to be a fun ride. Now, I want to add for our listeners too. So what age were you roughly when you debuted then? How old were you?
I debuted when I was 18.
I mean, ridiculous. And then you were in the Sevens World Series Dream Team in 2022. I mean, talk about like a transition. No wonder Robin's eyes lit up when he first saw you, you know, training and playing. Was like, okay, cool. I've scouted another one. So, I mean, truly remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, that dream team was definitely a turning point in my career. It's actually a pretty crazy story. Basically, we had a back-to-back tournament. We had to qualify for the Sevens World Cup that year, and we flew into the Bahamas the week previous. And we were told that it was a double selection, so whoever got selected for Bahamas would also go to Langford Sevens the next week.
Yeah.
So I was like, after being cut from a couple teams after Dubai, this would have been my first tournament back. So I was like, let's go. I'm back in the squad. Like, this is big. I'm going to play Langford Sevens, and I'm in Bahamas, and I'm just playing my game. At that point, it was a lot of just catching and just going as fast as I could and making big tackles. So after that tournament, we're coming back to we flew into Vancouver, and then we were going to ferry back into Victoria to get back to Langford. And I get this text on my phone, and it's like, "Hey, Krissy, let's have a chat." And it's our head coach, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, what's this gonna be?" It's early in the morning. It's like 7 a.m. I'm like, "Uh-oh." So I go have a chat, and basically I was the only person who got cut for the Langford team. So they were bringing somebody else in, and I was like, "All right, now I got to be on the ferry for another 4 hours with the whole team, and everyone knows I got cut, and just gotta go home." So basically, he told me I was cut and that I was gonna play in the Invitational, which was like the Canadian development players from all over Canada. They're gonna fly people in and do like a little tournament in between some of the sevens games. And I was like, at that point, just devastated, and I just wanted to go home and just not do anything. And I ended up going home. I got picked up straight at the ferry. I'm like, I can't even go on the bus back to the training center. Like, just pick me up right away. Go home. I chuck my stuff in the wash, and I'm just upset. The next day I go with the development girls, and I'm hanging out with them, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be really fun. This is going to be a good tournament. I'm just going to have a good run around and hang out with my friends. A lot of them I played uni with, so it was going to be a really good time. Yeah. And then that night I get a call, "Hey, Krissy, we got an injury. Like, you're going to have to come back into the squad." And I'm like, now I just got excited to play with the girls, and like, you're pulling me back. Like, what? You're throwing me through like all these emotions. And then I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm happy again. So I got thrown back into the Langford squad. I was like, again, 13th man. That's why I wear the number 13 still. It's like I was 13th man for a while, so I hold it close to my heart. But yeah, I got put up in a like penthouse suite at the hotel because I came in late. I had this big master bedroom, and I had the nicest room in the hotel for sure out of everyone. And I go into this tournament. We just did a captain's run, and then the tournament starts. And the first couple games, I'm in the sidelines, so I'm not really playing much at all. I wasn't expecting to really play. I kind of was called in late, but then we had another injury in my position, so then I'm thrown in. Now I'm starting the games in like a bit of day one and then all of day two. And I was like, I got to make my mark this tournament. Like, this is my shot. Like, I just got cut, and I'm just going to try as hard as I can and just try and do my job. And then ended up making the dream team. So that was kind of like, me and Jack always joke about that, how I just was like a little bit of like a fuck you moment, and like, why did you cut me? So yeah, no, it was really good, and that was definitely one of my favorite tournaments to this day. I think it was a little bit of a breakthrough for our squad as well, kind of like beating USA for the first time in a while and beating Fiji. Like, those games were really massive for our confidence. So yeah, it was just a whirlwind of emotion that week.
You've summed it up. Like, it's the roller coaster ride, literally, of the emotions, the highs, the lows, because most people wouldn't know that. They would just see you play and be like, oh, that's great. You played last time. You're playing again. You're scoring. Cool. They don't know everything else that goes behind the scenes. So truly remarkable. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no. No problem.
Well, it's there's so much to digest, especially at that age. I debuted at 26, Krissy. So I was trying since I was 18, but I debuted at 26. But flying across the world, going to Dubai from cold Canada, seeing camels as you're pulling into the stadium, like, it's all happening, and then you have to perform in front of all that. But I deal with it every day with athletes, especially the young ones, and you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And had you just automatically been selected into Langford, you probably wouldn't have been that hungry, right? And Krissy, as you can imagine, Dallen is an ultimate competitor. She's a sniper and a killer. But I got into I've got lots of rugby jerseys like everybody on the call, but I got into a bidding war. They bid the women's jerseys in Langford. And Krissy means so much to me because she embodies everything that North American rugby and obviously Canadian athletes, as far as like coming from a cold, smaller place, the battle she doesn't even know that I fought internally within the country. Like if you say you have somebody from the middle of the country, you might as well say you have somebody from another planet. They just get overlooked, or they used to get overlooked. And so, but for me, having spent so much time on the prairies and in small places, I know the best things come from small places. And, even university wise, they weren't even going to have room for her on the roster. And I had to be like, no, trust me. Now she's the poster girl. But anyway, I got into a bidding war for a jersey at the Langford Sevens, and I ended up winning. But right at the end, I was holding back my bids and then gonna put the last minute, 2 minutes left. I put in my last bid to win, and then it opens it up for another 15 minutes. And I just kept doing that. And my wife was just like, you are not spending all our money on this jersey. You have so many jerseys. I'm on, but this jersey. And then she ended up making the dream team as well. So I have it, but I got a hold of her after. I'm like, you could have washed it first. It still stank from that weekend. But anyway, that's near and dear to me. So just skipping ahead to the Olympics. Obviously, the road is never easy there mentally and physically. Can you walk us through your journey the last year, including the highs and lows, and what kept you focused throughout that whole process as an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about in that year leading up into the Olympics. Just it was definitely a grind. There's so many things going on. Like the mental game is a whole different story. You're just trying to stay as healthy as you can and trying to stay fit, and also making sure that you're performing well enough, because it's so cutthroat that year. It's so competitive in the environment. We had about 25 girls, 25, 30 girls competing for that spot, and up until the Olympics, you're not safe. So yeah, I think just going into every tournament, you're just trying to do your best. And yeah, it was crazy. I think the whole squad, we knew that we needed to up our game if we wanted to compete in that top 3 at the Olympics. At the time, going into that 2023-24 season, we were ranked 9th. So we were like, we really got to step it up, and what do we need to do to get there? And I think we had a couple harsh meetings and really kind of got to the nitty-gritty about what we had to do, and just kind of laid it all out there. And from day one, we all just kind of bought in, which was something that we hadn't really had in the past. And I've never seen a group of people just kind of glue so well and work so hard for each other. It was just such a joy to be a part of. And it was just honestly, the whole season was magic. I haven't been a part of a group that was so tight knit, and every tournament was a blast. We just have such a good time together. I think some people think we're a bit crazy, but we would have all of our training sessions, and then we would go home and watch movies together. And in one room, we would have all of us 13, 14 players in one room watching a movie, and then the next day we would all wake up early and go get bagels together, and then go to the beach together. There wasn't a moment where we really spent apart that whole year. And going into the Olympics, we're like, is this a bad thing? Are we a little bit too close? This might be bad. But I think we all knew what we needed to do, and we just worked so hard for each other. And I think that's a big reason of why we had such good success at the Olympics. And then also just that belief in each other, and just trusting each other. If you're going to miss a tackle, don't worry, I'll be there. And just knowing that if I messed up, I know that my teammate's going to work as hard as they can to fix it. And yeah, just the collective group in general, we had the idea that we wanted to be in the top 3, and actually believed it, even though on paper it would be hard to believe at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I mean, I'm just beyond proud of all the work that we put in, and so many players, just everyone really stepped it up and did what they needed to do. And that silver medal is just kind of just proves to the world kind of what we did. But I mean, no matter how we would have placed, I still would have been proud. But yeah, it really just shows it.
Well, I've been involved in, I think, over half the team's lives, and Caroline coming back in, and a number of you. So I flew from a Utah Sevens tournament. Halfway through the tournament, I ditched my kids and I flew to Paris, and I was emotional the whole way, just to go as a super fan and catch up with the parents and watch. And I had to finish the story for myself as a crazy Canadian coach and Canadian Sevens person and fan, and but yeah, just seeing you run out there, it was so beautiful. And then obviously you and Carissa got sidelined right before the Olympics, like together, besties. So you guys battled back, and in the end, I think, like, I don't want to say things happen for a reason, but you guys didn't get overcooked. They gave you, probably, I said to Carissa, like, mentally, when you're away from the team for a little bit, you don't overcook about pressure and performance, and you guys could actually come in fresh.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, just speaking of Carissa, like she's another she's from Saskatchewan, so a lot like me, grew up playing hockey, and we met at UVic in our first year, and we were both 18 years old, and we like instantly clicked. We're like both hockey players, kind of like just kind of starting to really get rugby, and yeah, we were just been best friends since day one. And that first year she wasn't on the dev team and I was, and every day we're chatting about, okay, next year you got this, like, and then the following year she did. And yeah, and then she just made her mark. She debuted at Pan Am's the year of the Olympics, and that was huge. I was like, let's go, Carissa, like this is it. And she played unreal, and then that whole season, like she got rookie of the year that season going into the Olympics. And yeah, like Robin said, yeah, we've just been like side by side. We both got sidelined right before the Olympics, so we had 6 weeks to rehab together. So that was just like we were together every day, gymming, doing skills, and doing conditioning together. And we both got a tattoo at Vancouver Sevens together of an orca after we got the bronze medal, and it's on our foot. And I remember like the day after, or one of the days after we were like, okay, we're for sure not going to Madrid for the final. We were driving in our car, and we look out the window at the ocean, and there's orcas like diving in the ocean. And we're like, this is crazy. Like, we have our orca tattoo. We just got sidelined. And then now we're just like, we were upset and we saw that, and we're like, okay, we're going to be okay. It's all good. And then, yeah, she had of a little bit of adversity going into the Olympics, and then ended up making that squad. And yeah, like I couldn't be more proud of her. Like, seeing her journey has inspired me so much, and she's just such a hard worker. And yeah, I mean, she's just a great human being overall. So being able to experience that with her, and yeah, she's just been my day one, and going to the Olympics with her is just like, it's just been unreal. And yeah, I mean, I'm smiling so much even just thinking about it. I miss her right now. So
That's
yeah.
that's a great story, but you guys have spent too much time on Vancouver Island, and you turned into Salt Spring hippies now. I had Dallen came up to the Pacific Northwest. He came out on the boat. I pushed him in the ocean. He thought he was going to get eaten, but it was good for him.
I did. It was great. I had to send a lifeguard after me.
Now, just skipping ahead to the Olympics, you came out of the gates flying and carving it up, obviously, and then you were sidelined with an injury. Can you just talk a little about that adversity again, and how you've come back from that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing I've ever been through in my rugby career. Yeah, obviously getting hurt on day one, like, not ideal. Definitely not something I thought was going to happen. I usually can fight through those kind of things, but I mean, a kidney laceration is not something you can really push through. So, yeah, I mean, it was hard, and I think the hardest part about it was not being allowed out of the hospital and not being with the team. Yeah, I mean, it was just tough. Like, obviously playing in those final games would have been a dream come true, and it's just not something that happened for me. But I couldn't be more proud of the performances of the girls, and watching it in the hospital bed, like, it's just such a mix of emotion. Like, I just want to be there, and I want to be supportive, and I want to be playing, obviously, and I'm not, and I'm in the hospital bed, and I'm in pain, and I can barely even walk to go to the washroom or go do anything. Like, I'm just stuck there. And yeah, it was really hard. I can't even describe how I felt watching the final, and even seeing like a couple of my family members were there, and I couldn't even be there. And I'm just like, oh, like, I would do anything to just be on the bench, or just to be able to see them before the game, and I just couldn't. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think I'll ever get over, but I can deal with. but yeah, I think like being able to see the team after I got released out of the hospital the day after the final, which was a bit of a push. I wasn't really supposed to leave, but I was sitting there begging, please. I was making phone calls. You got to get me out of here. Like, you got to get me out. And I ended up seeing the team the day after and celebrating with them a bit. At that point, I couldn't even get hugs from anyone, so it was still tough. But yeah, just being able to see them for the first time and look them in the eyes and kind of be like, we did it. That was just a massive moment for me. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so proud of them. Obviously, I would want to be there with them and play alongside them, but that just wasn't the case for me, and that's okay. Maybe in the future it will be, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it was definitely a challenge, and it still is, and I'm still working through it, but yeah.
Yeah, such a hectic situation, because that's the thing. People don't, they don't know the background. They just see you maybe later with your medal when you return home and things like that. And what's it been like since you've been home? When you got home with the actual silver medal, how's the community reacted, and what other opportunities have come your way since then?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you kind of just described. Like, I go home and a lot of people just see me and see the medal, especially because it was like an internal injury. You can't see it.
Yeah.
So no one knows that, like, what it really is. If I'm hurt, like, I'm still walking around and I look fine, but I'm very hurt. So yeah, it was definitely interesting. Yeah, tons of support with the community. Like, Canmore's not a very big town, so I got to see a lot of people, and everybody was happy to see me, and I loved like the smiles on like some of the kids' faces when you show them the silver medal. Like, that's a big reason on why I do it, and it really kind of just puts it into perspective of like that was me one, like, not even like even a couple years before I went to the Olympics, that was me, right? So like being able to show the medal to some kid who has that dream is just like, oh, like there's nothing to compare it to. So yeah, it was just really special, and yeah, just tons of support with the community. I think it was definitely a touchy subject at the time, and a lot of people wanted to know how I was doing, and yeah, like that was hard too, because you just get so many questions and phone calls and text messages, and I'm like, I don't even want to reply. But yeah, no, it was tough because it's so social, and I was still very injured. But I mean, it's also just like the support was unbelievable, and I couldn't have been luckier to grow up in such an amazing community and have so many close friends and family that really did care about me. So yeah.
Also, how amazing, because there are so many athletes that go to an Olympics and obviously they don't come back with a medal. There's so many, in that situation. So it is so rare to be in the one that you're in. And obviously you've gone through lots of, emotions behind the scenes as well. So let's talk about, you transitioned then after the Olympics. Now you're in the UK, you're playing with Loughborough Lightning side. How are you enjoying this new European lifestyle and environment and playing 15s?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been really good so far. Like the first week, there's so many, everything's the same but different here. So the brands are different. You're driving on a different side of the road, and everyone's got an accent, but I guess I'm the one with the accent now. But yeah, no, like it's been good. I love the team. Transitioning from sevens to 15s is definitely a bit of a challenge for sure, especially because I don't have a ton of 15s under my belt, so I'm learning a lot. And I'm coming into a group with a lot of really experienced players, which has been awesome, but definitely needed to like pick it up quick. But yeah, it's been really good. The group's been super welcoming. Like the girls are great. Yeah, we just need to get a couple wins under our belt coming up here, but yeah, it's been good. I've been loving it so far. So
I saw a remarkable coast to coast try that you scored recently. You just lit it up. Has sevens helped you exploit the space that you see in 15s?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. There's way less space in 15, so I had to figure that out in training. But yeah, no, it's been good. I think that was just like honestly like such a great pass from Helen on my inside, and then yeah, I just kind of saw the space and knew where I needed to go. It's so different because in sevens you don't normally have like people sitting back and full back, so it's like you have to break the first line and then you have to break another and then like one more. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Definitely different, but yeah, sevens has definitely helped with that for sure.
Well, with your setback and watching the Olympics from the hotel room, I like with a tiger locked in a cage, you're going to be even hungrier, just like you showed in the past, adversity wise, and you've got a couple more Olympics under your belt and looking ahead to LA, and obviously you can enjoy the 15 space for the next little while. But what are some of your main goals after accomplishing so much at such a young age? What are you looking towards, the World Cup, or what's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm definitely aiming to go to the World Cup this summer. That's a big reason why I'm playing over here in the UK. So yeah, just trying to get 15s experience. I'm definitely got lots to learn going into this summer. And I mean, we got a really, really talented squad with the Canadian 15s team. So if I'm able to crack that, that would be pretty amazing. But yeah, definitely that's the goal, to get to that 15s World Cup this summer. And then after that, maybe try and get to LA, and then maybe another Olympics. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, just kind of one thing at a time right now. Eyes are on the World Cup. So
Well, that's exciting. And then win the World Cup, learn from the English, and then beat them. That's the goal. Sorry, that was England international legend Ben Gollings just trying to photobomb us. Krissy, just one thing that's really I find inspirational. I've kind of turned into an entrepreneur later in my career after working for many companies, but balancing your Olympic dream, your full-time training, everything else, and then launching Scurfield Athletics, which is taking off. She's directly helping, outside of helping them with their development as an athlete. You're also inspiring so many. And how's that transition to balancing being a professional international athlete and building a business and managing all these clients?
I started the business in the summer of 2023. So it's been a year and a bit now. And yeah, I couldn't be more happy with kind of how it's been looking so far. I've been able to work with a bunch of incredible athletes across Canada, and like you said, it's not only about the training, it's about kind of the connections and the relationships that I get to build with them. Yeah, we chat about literally anything. I'm like, ask me whatever you want, and we can do chats. Like, we can chat on the phone, we can talk about rugby, we can talk about school, we can talk about whatever you want. And yeah, not only are they developing their strength and their power and their speed, but they're also hopefully learning from rugby, and I try and push them to watch games, and I'm got them, oh yeah, by the way, there's 15's game this weekend, like hop on if you want to see, or whatever. Like, I'm always trying to push them to watch games, and I'll review their training and whatever. So yeah, it's not only about the training in itself, it's about the relationships and being able to kind of meet the next generation of athletes. And yeah, it's been really special. And yeah, I really do love what I'm doing right now. So hope it lasts a while.
What's so great, you're such a mentor at such a young age too, to the next athletes coming through, which is so special. So we always like to ask our guests a question like this, so if you look back on your journey from the Canadian Rockies to the Olympic Games in Paris, what sort of advice would you give to young athletes who are starting out, they're facing their own challenges and also pursuing their own dreams?
I would say, just, it sounds cliche, but dream big. Like, I had the dream of going to the Olympics, and ever since I genuinely believed that I could do it, it was something I thought about every day. And what are the little steps to get there? So if it was, oh, I'm gonna go and play hockey, and then it was like, oh, I'm gonna go play rugby, it's what is the step that is gonna take me there? So then that was like, okay, I'm gonna play rugby and try and get on the dev team. And then the next step would be am I gonna do school, or am I going to do this? And then it was every single step I was just thinking, okay, what is going to get me closer to the Olympics? So I think it's just getting dreaming big, no matter what it is. If it's with sports, if it's with school, if it's with relationships, if it's whatever it is that you want to achieve, make it a big high goal, and then take little tiny steps to get there every single day, is what my advice would be.
Amazing.
Did I hear a dream, believe, and succeed? Is that what I heard, Krissy?
I think it was something along those lines. Yeah.
Oh, people think it's just spam, but it's actually, your journey is like this. It's going to be like this, but you took off like a rocket ship, as you deserve. Fun fact: there's a girl in Okotoks, Alberta, that just got a dream, believe, succeed tattoo on her upper shoulder blade.
That is
Yeah,
good.
so shout out to Cassie Steele. She's been on all our tours. I'm like, hey, it's up to you and your parents. She's like, I'm out of high school and I truly want to chase it. I'm like, okay, that's commitment. I respect that. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly share on that note, Krissy, you and Carissa, as I approach 2024. I lost my Italian grandmother who was in her 90s. It's obviously sad, but it's also, she had a wonderful life. She was like a saint. And everywhere she went, she lived, she was born in Italy, moved to Canada, and lived in a little seaside town, Dallen. And if you walked around with her in Souk, BC, it was like you're with Snoop Dogg because everybody just lit up. Like she's just full of beans, made everybody smile, and she left everybody better. And she died in my hand, very peacefully. I told her she could go, and I was shattered for a few weeks. She's the most important person in my life, but I said, I'm just going to do as I was raised, was work my butt off and look after everybody in my circle. And part of looking after people in my circle is Krissy and Carissa and towards their Olympic journey. And so we're not a lot of money, but just a little bit of money a year and help broadcast them and their success to inspire. Because when I was an athlete, much like Dallen when he was on the World Series, we had no dough. And I would go around, Krissy, at the local in my small town and talk to car dealerships. They're like, would you guys help me out, like a pair of cleats or sponsor this? And they're like, no, not interested. So, but the biggest thing is just trying to champion these two women, get behind them. They're so humble. They're so amazing on and off the field. And they're shooting stars. And just you guys have done such a great job of championing and leading from the front. And a big reason people always ask me why I'm so involved in the women's game, and because my favorite athlete was my older sister Vanessa. She was 4 years older and she was great at everything, and I was 4 years younger and average at everything. So my heroes was being their ball boy and supporting them, and my dad always coached them. So in this day and age, now our Canadian women are dominating, and have taken over the world. And we are heaving with talent, like absolutely heaving with talent. And if we had momentum before in North America with the Canadian women with silver and now the US women at bronze, it's so exciting. So, Krissy, how important has it been to be part of that Inspire Ambassador program and, and doing it with Carissa?
I mean, yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously the support has been incredible from you, Robin, since day one, and I know it's the same for Carissa as well. And also just being able to be that kind of mentor and that face for the next generation of athletes is so important to me. And just for all those prairie girls and boys and anybody who comes from those cold towns where there's not a lot going on, like there is opportunity for you. And I think, Robin, you do such a great job of showing that and trying to get people out and playing more rugby. And yeah, I mean, your support has been just incredible. And yeah, I mean, I truly wouldn't be here without you, and I mean that. So yeah, I mean, I'm forever grateful, and I know that you're going to do so well with so many other athletes in the future as well. So yeah, being a part of this has just been incredible. And yeah, I'm just excited for the future and see who else you can pick up out of the woodlands.
So the last one of the last few days Krissy was in Canada before she went to UK. I got a hold of her last minute, and because we've launched 3 new academies this fall, so we're up to 5 across Canada. And 4 of them are in those cold northern towns. And so Krissy and her dad got up at like 5 in the morning because it's like 7 a.m. kicks off indoors on a Sunday. Her and her dad drive in, and she was on the field coaching Dallen and gave talks. Y'all got pictures with the medals. And then I whispered to her dad, I'm like, can you get me to the airport in like 20 minutes? Full circle. And I had too much luggage because I'm so high maintenance now. But anyway, they filled the car up, and I got to have another drive with Krissy and her dad to the airport. So it was full circle for me. But on behalf of Dallen and I and the Rugby Hive, thank you, Krissy, for taking the time. And we can't wait to watch you continue to carve in the UK and help Canada win the World Cup next year.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was good.
Thank you so much, Krissy. Amazing stuff you start.
Thanks, Dallen.
Awesome. Brilliant. We're going to let you go. You're so great to finally meet you properly. And again, we keep cheering for you, scoring these amazing tries. And as we said, we can't wait for the World Cup. As long as you don't beat USA, beat everybody else, so let someone else knock out USA. We'll be happy with that.
Yeah, no promises with that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Right,
take care.
Okay, bye, Robin.
Also never stops talking, does Perenara, but I suppose that's the job of a scrum half.
Set.
He feeds. 5 out from the own line. Satutu picks up, finds Jordan. Jordan skins one. Back to Hoskins Satutu. Here comes Perenara. Back of the inside. Barrett. Oh, not even Wes Craven could have directed that. It's frightening from the All Blacks. And Bowden Barrett gets a popular try in DC.
Thank you for listening, you sleek sensations.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to Rugby Hive Podcast and catch us on all the socials at Rugby Hive.
We appreciate your support. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.
On the left-hand side, and a dummy, they're over!